Well, we got another author who has no author page. We have Evrian. I assume that's how it's spelled. Because I don't know how else it's supposed to be spelled. But Evrian, you wrote the SCP called estimated distance 9,216 years. Okay. Let's go. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. Due to its immovable nature, the site containing SCP-2503 has been acquired by the Foundation on the name of one Mr. Brandon Greenwood. By the way, did one of you cats bring you food again? Cats? Maybe one that's not too dry? Civilians are to be deterred from entering... Nah, okay. Shame. Civilians are to be deterred from entering under the guise of dangerous building conditions. At all times, at least 2 security members for each side of... At all times, at least 2 security members for each of Site 2503's entry points are to remain on site. Anyone who enters -1 without permission is considered lost if a reappearance does not take place through -2 within 80 hours. All entities emerging from -2 are to be detained for further questioning and research. Outsiders who access the containment site must be detained, questioned, and administer Class B amnestics before release. Access is currently available to research personnel with Level 2 clearance only, and -1 should remain open for the duration of non-declass experiments. See Incident A. It was me this time. And I don't mean I made it, by the way. Gotcha. What you got this time? What mystery food have you brought to us this time? Description: SCP-2503 is a temporal spatial anomaly that exists within Site 2503, located within a town about kilometers north of Burnaby, BC, Canada. Site 2503 is a residential house constructed in 1952 and has been unoccupied since 1970, resulting in the current state of disrepair. The previous owners of the house were declared missing in 1970. The room SCP-2503 locates is the master bedroom on the 2nd floor, henceforth referred to as -1. SCP-2503's anomalous properties are only activated and displayed when someone enters it through -1's door. Otherwise, when observed through another channel, such as the windows of -1, only an empty room is visible. However, upon opening the door of -1, a path made of concrete tiles extending into the horizontal distance can be seen under a dimly illuminated sky with no identifiable light source. This space is assumed to be the inner space of SCP-2503. Follow the yellow brick road. Soup with rice and meat. Okay. Well, at least it's not dry. Is it nice? Is it good? The presence of SCP-2503 was discovered in 1990 when local police force received reports of a gunshot being heard from within Site 2503 on the morning of 1990. Upon investigation, the police team discovered in the garage the dead body of a man in his 30s who was later confirmed as being Henry! No! Henry was just looking at me like it wasn't me, bro. It's some other guy named Henry. Why are you panicking? And I'm over here like... Pardon me. Henry, an architectural designer from Vancouver, BC, declared missing 3 days prior. Autopsy has later concluded that his death was due to an act of suicide. During the comprehensive search of the site, the police discovered the presence of SCP-2503, and an embedded agent notified the Foundation, which then quickly took over the case and transformed the house into a containment site. What happened? Oh yeah, you don't know. I named him Henry. This is Henry. So when it said that they found the body of Henry, I was like, no! Why did you die? And so that's why I was like, and I was thinking like Henry would be like, it's not me. You fucking idiot. And I'm over here like, I'll miss you. Observations indicate the time and space within SCP-2503 behave differently from our conventional understanding. Due to its nature, subjects that enter SCP-2503 do not age while inside SCP-2503's space. Subjects within SCP-2503 will perceive the passage of time but will not experience it. The speed with which subjects travel within SCP-2503 does not influence the amount of time it experiences. It is unknown exactly how far the path within SCP-2503 stretches. Well, apparently 9,216 years. SCP-2503 connects -1 to a small storage room, henceforth referred to as -2, within inside 2503's garage, where a temporal spatial distortion is detected via Geiger-Gregorian algorithms and traced back to -1. Currently, -2 is the only exit of -1. Addendum 1, Incident A. Okay, so we have a couple addendums here, a couple tests, it seems like. Date 1990. Upon arriving at Site 2503 with the initial containment team, Agent ventured into -1 by himself. Through his personal intercom, he expressed shock that when the door of -1 accidentally closed behind him, it vanished from his perspective within SCP-2503 and was no longer accessible. The containment team outside of -1 then immediately opened the door, but Agent was nowhere to be found, despite his insistence that he had not moved since entry. Through the intercom, Agent suggests that he could walk forward a bit and see where this thing ends. However, communication soon ceased from his end and no further contact has been established. Agent was thus declared missing. Yeah, he's probably still walking. He's probably still Christopher Walkens. I see this bath. Endless. Endless bath. I'm just going places. Addendum 2, experiments conducted on SCP-2503. Experiment 1. Subject, a semi-autonomous drone with built-in GPS and camera. The drone was sent into -1 and began sending back audio-visual feed after the door closed. At this moment, its GPS was no longer able to track its location and soon went offline. Video feed showed that the concrete path did not seem to change with distance and no other visible entity was present. Noteworthy was that despite the 6-hour battery life of the drone, it operated for much longer, about 39 hours before the signal was lost for unknown reason. The 4 people watching start talking. They don't need to if they don't want to. There's no need. If they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. I'm okay if people just want to look. I appreciate anything at the end. Experiment 2. Subject D029271, equipped with a fully charged intercom and a standard explorer's kit with sufficient rations for about 3 days. Note, D029271 was sent into -1 and told to walk forward along the path and report any discovery. The intercom equipped on D029271 was set to remain online for the duration of the experiment. The first 30 minutes of the experiment were uneventful. However, when the research team outside of -1 asked if D029-271 wanted to take a break, D029-271 responded that he did not feel tired, hungry, or thirsty at all, and expressed shock that only 30 minutes had passed, reporting to have felt as if hours or even days have gone by. About 53 minutes into the experiment, signal from D029-271's intercom began to experience interference from within SCP-2503. All communications with D029-271-2503 ceased at the 56-minute mark. D029-271 was considered lost at this point. So it also seems like time works differently, because he did say like how many so exploding have felt as if hours or even days have gone by. Now I'm not sure if it actually like because he's saying either hours or days, so it's not very consistent on how much time has passed on their side. But we can only assume that like 30 minutes equals to like a lot of time passing in that dimension. Show Addendum 2, excerpts from recovered document 1. Ooh, there's some. Okay, this is some extra big boy information. Okay, The following document was recovered from the personal belongings of Henry! Henry, on the floor next to his body where he was discovered. There's a bag containing one Nokia 9110i cell phone, an industrial-sized notepad labeled as a property of 4 Hershey candy wrappers, one 1958 issue of Playboy magazine. What were you doing, Henry? What were you doing, huh? You little scoundrel. You little naughty dog. A standard Foundation personnel field kit and 2 wallets, only one of which belongs to Henry. Recovered document 1 is a selection of entries found inside the notepad. Addendum, excerpts from recovered document 1. To whoever finds this note, I don't know who or where you might be, but if luck is on your side, let's hope you did not end up like me, trapped in wherever the hell this place is. My name is Henry. I was born and raised in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and married to Rosaline. Together we were blessed with a daughter, Marianne, who will be turning 2 this year. My address is St. Vancouver. Oh, Street, Vancouver, sorry, not Saint. My address, Street, Vancouver. If you happen to come across this note by chance, please deliver it to my family. You may demand some payment for your service. To be honest, I'm not very certain how I end up here in the first place. I work at an architectural firm. Things are just like you expect of a middle-class white collar. Busy all the time, but fulfilling. Every Friday night, my department hosts a pub night for us fellas to blow off some steam after a hard week at work. So I was there this week too, along with a couple of co-workers from other departments. We had some newbies joining, so this turned into a welcome party of some sort, and I ended up drinking a little more than I probably should. At some point, I just blacked out completely, but before that, I do remember asking Will and Kevin to get me home. And now it looks like they didn't do as they were asked. When I woke up, I just found myself here, lying on this path that leads to nowhere. It was funny how the first thing I did was check my bag and wallet. Nothing was stolen. But I found something that wasn't there before. It was a full piece of paper with a pocket watch attached. I thought the paper was written by me at first because of the handwriting, but I don't recall ever writing anything like this. Into the next page for your reference. Please don't take this personally. Henry, you've been a great sport. Loved your work, loved your company, loved your outlook on life. That's why you're here. From you, I learned a great deal about myself, and you are thanked clearly for your mentorship. That's why I think of leaving with you a little parting gift before I go. Consider this your deserving utopia. Always racing with the clock you were. But I'm like, if I was Henry, I'd be like, you go put me in some endless like void without asking if I wanted this. Like, what about my wife? But here you are free from that. The time is in your hands and will only move forward as long as you do. It won't leave your grasp ever, so you don't have to run all the time like you once did. Walking is good, and will do. Isn't this something worth rejoicing over? I'm sure you'll find that this is where you truly belong, and you may wander wherever you like. Don't worry about food or water. There are many important things that should occupy your mind. If you want to leave, just follow the path and let the hammer act as your guide to the exit. It will be a bit of a long walk, but you'll be fine. After all, the time is in your hands. I would assume they were left by whoever got me here. In any case, I don't know who they may be. Interns come and go all the time. Hell, it could be that Weasley kid from last month. Or Wesley. Not Weasley. It doesn't have an A. Wesley kid from last month. I knew he'd be trouble if we kept him. I fucking knew it. Look at me now. Stuck in some sort of weird time-stop dimension that apparently only moves when I move. I've been trying to get into contact with someone for at least 3 days now, but there's no cell phone signal or sign of anything that's living. Wherever this place is, it must be deep underground. There's also no way to tell time here. The clock on my phone is malfunctioning and my watch stopped a while ago. That reminds me there was the pocket watch attached, but it doesn't display time, or at least doesn't have the standard clock face. Rather, there's an electronic display, but it's not showing anything right now. I haven't figured out what it does yet. For now, I'll try to follow the walkway. There's no sun or moon here, and the vague lighting doesn't seem to have a source. However, one direction of the concrete walkway extends into the horizon, whereas the other cut off shortly by darkness. My instinct is telling me to go towards the light. I guess I'll finish off here. If you're stuck in this space like me, best of luck to you and may you succeed where I fail. If you found this elsewhere, notify the police and my family. Once again, you have my thanks. Signed, Henry. ... This is Henry writing. I knew how I've concluded my earlier note made that seem like my final words, but that was not my intention. After going around for a bit, can't really tell how long, I'm quite amazed by what I've seen here. First of all, it seems like our understanding of the world doesn't really apply in this place. By my estimation, it has been at least 30 hours since I woke up, but my cell phone, which usually lasts about 80 hours in standby, is still at about 70%, the same as last night. What's more amazing is that I haven't taken in anything since pop, but I don't feel the slightest hint of hunger or fatigue. And on a different note, I think I found how the pocket watch works. It's actually embarrassing to say, but there's a little knob on the side. Can't believe I didn't notice it sooner. If you press it, a series of numbers appear on the screen for about 5 seconds before disappearing. The number also changes as I walk. Still don't know what the numbers mean, but they're consistently going down for sure. Right now, as I'm writing this down, the number shows 9,927 dash 330. I wonder if it's like 3:30. No. Also, I tried to put myself to sleep earlier. It didn't work out well because I'm not tired at all. Also, that the ground is made of concrete. Probably not the best kind of bed. I'm starting to get kind of worried by the state of my own health. But so far, not eating, drinking, and sleeping has yet to take a toll on me, I guess. I'll keep on waiting a bit. There's still no sign of human activity anywhere. Not a single living being is here. But I'll keep on looking. If I find anything worth noting, I'll jot it down here. From now on, this notepad is my exploration log. I wonder if Howard actually kept track of the... Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah. Because I was about to say, like, this seems more than 12,000... Well, 13,000 words. Okay, 9,927, 129. So I suppose it's time to write down another entry. Unlike the previous 8 times, I actually have something of value to say. I have bad, good, unreadable news today. For some time now, I've recorded down the numbers on the watch each time I make an entry. And I think I figured out what they mean. It should have occurred to me sooner. I guess it did, but I just couldn't accept it somehow. Judging by the intervals of how the numbers increase, the last 3 digits seem to go down by 1 every 24 hours. I know it. I can't be sure of it. I've become increasingly good at consciously counting time by walking. In other words, I think it's a countdown of some sort. Still, it may... Oh, I see what it is. Yeah, still, it may be better off by unaccounted... it may better off be unaccounted for. Here's my advice to you. If you're reading this in my situation, don't try to count how many minutes, hours, or days you walked. I've given up on doing that. That just drives you mad because your body doesn't get tired, you don't feel the time passing. But if you slow your mind down to count, you will. Believe it or not, the last time I recall checking the watch consciously is still at 236. So I'm pretty sure that this is the days. The countdown is like it's like the 365 days, and this is the years. Ooh, that's a lot of time. So ... 9,926, 364. Yeah, so he probably like finally figured out. And there you unreadable possible expletive go. Oh, how naive I've been. At some point I started counting again. I flipped out the pocket watch whenever I thought of it. I bet all of my hope at the moment when 1 drops to 0. Even purposely ignored the 4 digits on the left. I was wrong. I thought that by not feeling hunger or fatigue I can make through this within blinks of my eye. But I'm no god. I miss human interaction. I miss my family and friends. Why must I be put through this? I don't think I've cried this hard since Dad died. But it's about time to finish up now. I still have to go. I have no reason not to. A moment ago I just saw the picture of Rosaline in my wallet while trying to see if we got any Hershey left. And my poor Marianne, she should be about 4 by now. I mean, 4 without her daddy. Even if it's just for her, I will carry on. Wonder why he crossed out will. Now we have 9,892-63. So he's been walking. He's been Christopher walking for a long time. Today I made a great mistake. That would be my second greatest of all time. Unreadable. The thing was some sort of machine, small but flying. I haven't seen one myself, but think it was what you call a drone. Been one of those things, that one guy who I roomed with during my sophomore year in college. It's been too long. He'd be all thrilled about it because he's in engineering. Shame he wasn't here. I'd really appreciate the company or just about anyone. Maybe even that drone, but I guess I was just too scared after being alone for so long. Without thinking, I went up and attacked it with my bag. The thing was unreadable. Figured I'd just leave it there. I wonder if that drone... It says here small but flying. Hold on. So, I wonder if that drone was the drone from the experiment 1 that the Foundation has sent in. I thought about taking a part of it as a souvenir, but then every time I look at it, I'd be reminded of my mistake about the missed opportunity of potentially getting into contact with someone else. I must not think of it. I've learned how to do that now. I'm able to. Now I wonder if the D class will find him. 9,744, 706. Can't believe it's been 7 years since my last entry. I've become inert. By human age, I should have died. Yet I'm young still. My thoughts have become senile, though. However, but through neither knowledge nor experience. Time passes quickly when one stops thinking. Flows like water in a rapid stream, unhindered, unnoticed, and undisturbed. I'm no wise, but should learn it was my proof. I will write it down how to do it here. Redacted. 9,725 years, 350 days. A streak of light lit up the sky. For a moment it shone brightly, but the next it is gone. 9,308 years, 144 days. My conscience returns and I decide to sit down for the first time in 174 years. The earlier entries brings back some nostalgia. I'm reminded of some emotion that I thought I had long lost. Before I knew it, tears were flowing down my cheek. I can't allow myself to think. If I do it, it would be the end of me. On a separate note, sometime earlier I found something quite unusual on the ground. It was a Playboy magazine from 1958. I can't recognize anyone except for Larry Lane, whose movies were my teenage favorites. I decided to bring it with me in case I get lonely again in the distances ahead. Yeah, okay, Henry, I can see why you kept a Playboy magazine with you. I mean, you've been in there for almost around 700 years, so yeah. 9,217 years, 31 days. I found a human being today, but I don't know whether to be happy or sad. Supposedly I should be happy because at this point any entity besides myself is a solace in this solitude. But I can't converse to him. He's just lying there, face down on the ground, with a hole opened on the side of his head. The poor fellow shot himself. I guess he was also trapped here, like me. But he seems well equipped from head to toe, like an officer of some sort. Wait, the numbers are years? Yes, the 9,000 numbers are years, and the second series of numbers are the days. So because here we found out when he first traveled, he was saying like, oh, he realized that we're counting down. But then like when he got to here where it's 364, it changed from 9,927 to 9,926. So it's counting down the days that he's traveled and the years he's traveled. And that's why it also says here, estimated distance 9,216 years. Which is the last entry of his that we get to see here. Okay, so wait, he got to... Yeah, he found... I'm pretty sure he found a D-class. He found a D-class that the Foundation has sent in with a bullet wound in his head. I don't know, I feel this... the poor fellow shot himself. I guess he was just trapped like me, but he seems well equipped from head to toe, like an officer of some sort. No, that seems to be the agent. Okay, that's not the D-class, that's the agent. That's the I think that's here, right? That's the agent that got lost in it by accident. Because I don't think a D-class would have a gun on them. The agent would. And he also said he seems well equipped from head to toe. An agent that would make more sense for an agent than a D-class. I don't know. I feel disgusted with what my immediate reaction was. It was neither grief nor angst, but redacted. After that, I did a thorough search. His belongings came down to the handgun and toolkit consisting of a flashlight, some small gadget, a pack of gum, an intercom, seems to be broken, and a personal ID of an organization. I packed all these with me along with his wallet, not because I needed the money. I then said an informal eulogy before leaving him. Seeing how he ended up made me clear my mind a bit. I've got to get out, however long it will take. What's interesting is that he finds these... he finds a lot of the Foundation stuff at different time than the Foundation has sent stuff in. The agent was first from the Foundation to get trapped, get sent, or like accidentally gets trapped in this dimension. But he found the agent second, while the drone got sent in second, and he found the drone first. I'm also trying to figure out like if the more he could be time warping, maybe it could be time warping. Yeah, I'm also trying to figure out if like if him walking the distance is reducing the time somebody has to walk for everybody, or only for himself. Because he has a little watch that tells him how long he has to travel, right? But I wonder if then if somebody else were to like hop in now, if that person has to also walk for 9,900 years, or if they have if they are allowed to have a shorter time. Okay, 9,216 years, 172 question mark days. Okay, he's confused, it seems. This may very well be my final entry. I'm no different than a dead man now. Yesterday, presumably, I couldn't really tell how long ago it was, but I finally lost the last bit of control. I began thinking again. I can't help it. I can no longer distract myself. Like the urge to jump down when you are at a high place. You're fine at first, but the longer you stand on the edge, the more you want to just step forward. I try to pretend to myself that it's all fine, but I can't. I then looked at how long it has been, almost 800 years. For 8 centuries now I walked. I'm not even sure where this all leads. What did I even do to deserve this? In a fit of rage, I threw my pocket watch away. It was swallowed up by the darkness behind me before I could change my mind, which I immediately did. I tried going back to search for it, but it just disappeared. I didn't even hear the sound. It took a second before I realized what I've done. I don't know how much longer I will be able to last. I already have nothing to return to. At this point, I just want an answer. The handgun inside my bag is luring me, but I'm not able to just let it have its way. I can still do this. I'll take it slow. The time is in my hands. No, that's what the letter said. Question mark, thought. Voices were heard. Not sure where. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Cold. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Lost in thought. Regained consciousness. Walked on. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Where am I? Question mark, till dawn. It feels like a bad dream that has gone on for way too long. I thought about about too many things and too little. I've come to terms with myself and with this path. This entire thing felt like a blur, but it's too realistic to be written off like that. I'm almost near the end of my journal and this journey, so it seems. I can't tell how long I've got ahead, but the sun or whatever that's going beyond the horizon seems to be rising. Finally, it's about time for morning twilight. No regrets. I'm sorry. End of document 1. Afterwards, the journal, upon recovery, was in good condition, giving valuable first-hand observation from within SCP-2503. It should be mentioned that Henry is the only individual to have presumably exited the inner space. The time spent between his disappearance and reappearance, 80 hours, is thus taking at the amount of time necessary for a person to exit SCP-2503 via -2. So on the that's fucked up though. 80 hours equals to like 9,927 years. What? That is some imbalance. Imagine that. She's like, yeah, just 80 hours. That's it. Nope. I've been walking for almost 10,000 years. It's thus taken as the amount of time necessary for a person to exit SCP-2503 via -2. Extensive background research has been conducted on him, his family, and his co-workers to cross-reference the information presented in Document 1 and identify potential persons of interest. Noteworthy discrepancies are being studied at the moment. For instance, Henry's co-worker at reported that prior to his disappearance, Henry was experiencing heavy stress from work, began acting erratically. Many recall him acting and speaking differently at times. Those who had attended the pub night the Friday Henry disappeared know that Henry, a frequent attendant of the event, has declined the invitation, saying he needs some time to himself. Rosaline and the family doctor commented on Henry's recently developed tendency to talk to himself out loud, adding that he was suffering from frequent episodes of insomnia. Miss also revealed that only one child is registered under the household who she introduced as being Marty, their 13-year-old son. Okay. We have a bit of an unreliable narrator here, because now Henry made it sound like he got kidnapped, or at least he got brought to this location against his own will, and then started to like walk for 9,000 years. But from the sounds of it, maybe people were able to exit the place after 80 hours, and the rest is in their head, because like that would explain the insomnia, because like, okay, they're not falling asleep anymore, so it was, for them it would seem like they would be endlessly awake in this path. But also Henry said also Marianne is their daughter, but Rosaline is saying they have a Marty, a son. So we don't know if he was under some weird anomalous effect before he got into that space, or if that basically happened, if he got into that space first and then came back out and then attended work and family life as normal, and was just like really like different. Because as they said, like oh, he's talking to himself, which could be all these entries here is him talking to himself. This reminds me of Long Dream by Junji Ito. I have not seen that one, but it does sound like I can see Junji Ito having some existential story like this. I could see that. Look it up. I will look it up, of course. Long Dream. Junji Ito. Oh, I do recognize these images. For sure. But I will have to actually give it a read. Probably, hopefully this week, maybe. But yeah, that was a That was a longer one. But well, I wonder what the okay, people on YouTube. I wonder what you guys' theory is. Do you think he walked the path first, and 80 hours later he came out, and he didn't actually walk 9,000 years, as it says, but he came out 80 hours, and then imagine the rest. Did he actually walk 9,000 years, but it came across as 80 hours, and then lost his mind? Because we could also like argue the reason why he's getting information confused is because he's been walking for so long that his mind is just like falling apart. So is he an unreliable narrator, or has the SCP absolutely blended his mind together and now he's just very confused of what's going on around him? Because in long dream, 8 hours in real life was 20 years in the dream. Gotcha. There's a lot of like SCPs though where like there's like a time difference. Like even like the one roller coaster one, I believe, was also one of those where like they would feel like, oh, it's only a couple seconds, but then like it's actually multiple days that they were stuck on it. But yes, let's continue.